The last like 36 hours have just been torture for him. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will. Enzo's right there. Lotus is, well, he's busy right now. So today's topic is Lotus's anxiety. Now, if you guys have been following along, you guys know Lotus suffers from anxiety of a lot of things, but one of the big ones is storms. And the last couple days they've been rough. Oh, go boy, Lotus, go poopy. So if it looks a little gloomy, it's because it is. It's still pretty good chance we might get rained on. I wanted to bring Lotus to the park, and it's been raining, so you know we're gonna come to Echo. I wanted to bring him here, and we're gonna spend a good amount of time here. It's 9:52. I got a haircut finally. Well, technically I got a haircut a few weeks back from a neighbor, but I was actually able to go get from my actual girl who cuts my hair. So that's why we're a little late this morning. But the last like 36 hours have just been torture for him. Now, when I got back this morning from getting my haircut, I didn't get back in time. The wife had to start work at 9. And Lotus was still in meltdown mode, even though it wasn't raining. He's just been on alert for so long that he's just like stuck in it. So that's why we're gonna spend so long here today. Because I got home late, the wifey had to put him in his crate upstairs in the kitchen. Had his little noise machine and stuff, so I'll insert that clip here of me getting home. Lotus. Oh, hi, Lotus. In. Lotus. Nope, in. In. Too much. But the last 2 nights we've had to get his crate. So 2 nights ago it was raining when we were going to bed, so we just went ahead and got it. But it didn't rain. It rained like a little bit in the morning, but it didn't rain pretty much all day. Yet he was still kind of like anxious and stuff, and that happens with him sometimes. He'll get these like traumatic events, and I say traumatic. It's not like, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. The storm wasn't really that bad or anything. But sometimes it'll just trigger him, and he'll go into like a meltdown for a couple days almost, it seems. And I think that's what was happening. You know, it started storming 2 nights ago when we were in the bedroom, and he kind of associated that. Several months ago, I put something on the TV, and it sounded like a storm, and it was real loud, and I tried to turn it off real quick. But for like a week or two, he freaked out anytime we put on the TV in the bedroom. He just like wouldn't go in there. So sometimes he gets like these, like he needs reset. So that's what I'm hoping this morning we'll do, is we can just be out here, spend a good like hour or more just hanging out and just having fun. We're gonna do some fetch. So 1, I want him to hopefully forget, and 2, I want to wear him out. I want to wear him out because I want him to go home and sleep. You know, he's been spending the last 36 hours on edge, and that's just from a health perspective, that's not good. How you doing, pup? That was just construction. It wasn't storm. I promise. I promise. It wasn't. It was just some construction off in the distance. It really was. It really was just some construction. We're near the river. You got barges and loading and all sorts of weird things happen. Usually we don't hear them here though. Rain is coming. It's not supposed to storm though, just rain a little. So put the camera away. Wow, you'd hardly even know it's the same day right now. It's so shiny. So bright out, but it is 10:50, so we did spend just a few minutes past an hour just basically wandering around. I mean, you know, just trying to get Lotus to relax. Unfortunately, he didn't like fully relax. He still kind of had that little bit of an edge. which I get it. You know, it is darker clouds. He's not dumb. He realizes that indicates a storm, although it's actually like north of us, so we're not actually getting any of it. And then some random off in the distance construction. So when we get home, I want to kind of show you guys some more in depth of stuff we do, because I know Lotus isn't the only one that suffers with this. And then maybe some of you guys can share some of the things that'll work for you below. All right, got all wiped down. Lotus is still panting because it's a little windy here at the house. We live kind of up on a hill, and it creates a little more wind than normal, especially with all those trees. You can hear it. Come on. You need to pass out. I know you're exhausted. Now, something I've been experimenting with is the ultimate distraction. All right, I got it. It's gone. Yeah, all gone. And then he's kind of on this hunt for a minute, which I don't really like him doing, because I feel bad about like tricking him. Although I'm not trying to trick him, but it does. It has that effect. But he's not thinking about the storm now. All right, so it's the next morning. Now, I had planned to do this yesterday afternoon, but frankly, Lotus was still just in meltdown. Even after making him exhausted, he still just was not having it, wasn't happy. And we've never had it go that long. We were pushing like well over 36 hours, close to 48 hours of him being almost in like a constant state of like anxiety, and that's just not good. So we finally just called the vet to see what options would be available. Now, before I talk about that though, I want to talk about what we do on a day-to-day basis. So one thing we do is we do CBD oil. Now these are actually CBD cookies. The oil was kind of a pain, to be honest, because you weren't supposed to really mix it with the food. So I would kind of like put it on a plate, put like a little bit of peanut butter around it and stuff. I don't know why you couldn't mix it with the food, but you weren't supposed to. The cookies are easier, I guess. It's still not perfect solution for some reason, even though they're peanut butter flavored. For some reason, sometimes he's just weird about it. Most of it though comes from the fact that he doesn't eat. Like if he eats them. So it really comes down to sometimes he just doesn't want to eat, which I think sometimes is because he's anxious. So we do those every day. And then we have these Nutrivet Pet Ease Chewables. And I'll link this stuff all below. It's all in the Amazon store already, actually. We do these when we know a storm's coming. Neither one of them is a silver bullet, to be completely honest. He gets so anxious that it's really hard. And it's not like I can have a storm and give it to him and then the next storm not, and then try to compare. One, that's just not fair to him, and two, that would just be really hard to quantify. Ultimately, I think it probably helps, but it's not, again, it's not gonna solve an issue. Now, maybe if they're really mild cases for your pup, maybe. So we called the vet and we're like, look, this is going on 48 hours. We need to do something. And he's exhausted. I mean, he's hardly sleeping. So she gave us 3 options. Option 1 was to bring him in for a consultation. We're like, we don't need a consultation. We know, like, we've been on consultation. We've been to trainers. Like, there's not like, it's not like you're gonna sit there and meet him and be like, oh, you should do this. No. Option 2 was, what was option 2? The wife talked to him. Option 2 was like a, kind of like a tranquilizer type thing, sedative type thing that you come in and get, and it's like you get one and so forth. I think it's stronger, but it's like, no, we don't want something that we have to give him every day, mind you, but we need something like on hand for when it gets to this point. And so finally, the third option they offered us, and the option we took, trazodone. Now it says give one twice daily. We're not going to do that, obviously. They gave us a 30-day supply, but this will probably honestly last us hopefully months, hopefully the whole summer, really. They're also, the way they're structured, the pill, it's real easy to cut it, so we can drop it to a half a dose. It didn't like make him pass out or anything, but he definitely went to sleep, you know. I mean, he wasn't like out. Like if I wouldn't pet him, he'd open his eyes, you know, he was there. But I mean, it definitely finally made him tired to where he slept all night. Now, granted, he didn't sleep well the night before, and we ran all day yesterday. He was exhausted. So, I mean, really, he just needed the sleep, period. So, how much of his sleep was because of that, or that just getting him to sleep? I mean, I was to the point where I was almost like, well, maybe we just give him a little bit of Benadryl to make him go to sleep. I felt like he just needed a reset. And honestly, he slept in the bed. So a lot of times he'll get in the bed with us in the evening, but depending on their moods, Lotus almost always gets down. Enzo may or may not. But Lotus lately anyways always gets down. He did not get down, he stayed the whole night. So I think he got a really good night's sleep, and I can tell. I mean, he's totally different pup this morning. I mean, you see him, he's running around. He was not doing that yesterday. He refused. We would come outside, he wouldn't do it. I think him getting that good night's sleep and that reset, that mental reset, was really the key. The good thing is we're gonna have these, you know, I don't plan to proactively give him those. You know, if the weather says a storm's coming, I'm not gonna give him those. One, I don't trust the weather. It's wrong so many times that I would hate to give him one of those and then it not storm. Oh, real quick, I did want to add, I just remembered this after I finished filming, so I'll splice this in somewhere, but I said I wouldn't preemptive give him those pills, and I still won't, with the one exception being July 4th. July 4th, I will give him one, probably sometime later in the afternoon, early evening. Two, we still do a lot of other measures besides the chewables and besides the CBD. You've seen pictures, you know, wherever room we're gonna be in, whether it's night in our bedroom or maybe it's in the day in the living room or in the basement, whatever, we take his crate, we put a blanket over it. We have a little Bluetooth speaker we put in there that puts on some white noise to help filter some of it. I'll put a little light in there sometimes. Some of you have asked about that, so I actually brought it out. So many of you asked about that in the Instagram post. But it's just this little aperture MC light. I'll link it below. This is a photography light. So if you're thinking, oh, there's a simple night light for my pup, you're probably not gonna want it. What I like about it for that purpose is it's magnetized, so it magnetizes to his crate. Mostly I was using it to get the photo, but I ended up leaving it in there just to kind of give him a little light to kind of remind him like, hey, it's not dark, it's not storming, you know, here's a little light, and it just makes it easier to check on him. You also notice that his crate, we don't put the blanket all the way over. We do that for a couple reasons. One, to allow airflow. Two, so we can see him and he can see us, because then he's better with it. And three, what you couldn't really tell in that photo was that we have an air vent there with AC, so the AC, like, it was nice and cool in his crate. Put his crate wherever we're gonna be, and then we try to stay put. If we can prevent him from hearing the storm coming, I will take extreme measures if possible. Now, if the wifey's working and she's like on the phone or something, I'm somewhat limited, but I will turn TVs on, I will run water in the sink, I will turn music on in addition to the TV, so that way if the TV quiets for a second or something. There has been a few quick storms that have passed over where I've actually been able to get it to where he didn't even know it happened. And that's obviously ideal, because then he doesn't have to deal with that elevated stress. The other thing with the crate is, you know, when he gets like that, he's like inconsolable. He wants to be like, I mean, when I say in your bubble, like he wants to be like on your lap, which I don't necessarily have an issue with that. I mean, obviously can't do it all the time. Sometimes if it's like the middle of the day, we're trying to work, but it'd be one thing if he did it and like sat still, but like he just can't sit still. But if you put him in his crate, he will actually eventually like lay down and, I wouldn't say go to sleep necessarily, but he will actually lay down and like kind of come to a resting state, which is something he does not do if we don't have the crate. So it's another one of those bonuses. We always tell people like how important crate training is, even if you don't really plan to keep him in the crate, because of situations like this. This is pretty much the only time he ever goes in the crate is during a storm. We don't generally lock the door. Now, if we have to leave the house, unfortunately, it's rare, but if we have to not be home when a storm's gonna happen, we will lock his crate. You know, if just the wifey's working, there's been situations like yesterday where I didn't make it home in time and he was acting like this, so she had to lock him in his crate because she couldn't be working and do that. But generally speaking, he's not locked in. We just sit next to him and he stays in there on his own. So I hope you guys got some usefulness out of this. If you have any questions, please comment below. We'll answer them the best we can. Appreciate you guys as always. Subscribe for more Enzo and Lotus German Shepherd content, and we'll see you on the next video. Later, guys. I feel like it's too close. What are you doing, Chuckles?